All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to connect the dots on something huge. We're talking about these massive new AI data centers, the rise of what you could call autonomous AI coworkers, and this really urgent race to build some guardrails for technology that is, let's be honest, completely reshaping our world. And to get started, let's just look at the wild price tag of this new frontier. Okay, so let's start with a number that really sets the stage for everything else we're going to talk about today. And that number is $50 billion. Yeah, that's billion with a B. It's not a typo. I mean, that's just an almost unimaginable amount of money. And get this, that's the price tag for just one company's bet on the future of AI. So, it immediately makes you wonder, right? What on earth are they building that costs that much money and why? Well, to answer that, we've got to understand that we're in the middle of a brand new kind of arms race. But this one's not about weapons. Nope. It's all about building the foundation, the massive infrastructure. You can think of them as the digital brains that are going to power the entire next generation of AI. So where does that $50 billion number come from? It's from the AI company Anthropic. They're planning this absolutely massive investment to build their own custom data centers all across the US. And this is a huge strategic play for them. They're building these dedicated, super optimized facilities just to power their AI model Claude and to handle the, just insane demand from their 300,000 plus business customers. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. There's a huge debate around this $50 billion bet. I mean, is it a brilliant strategic move or a sign of a massive market bubble? So on one side, the thinking is, look, the compute hunger is real. To do cutting-edge AI research, you just need unbelievable amounts of power. Building your own stuff means you're not dependent on Amazon or Google, and it keeps critical jobs here in the US. But on the other side of the coin, you've got some major risks. Some folks are worried this is a bubble, especially when you see rivals like Meta planning to spend even more. I mean, what if demand slows down just a little? It's a really bold move to fix a compute shortage that could, very easily flip and become a super expensive overcapacity problem. And you know what? Anthropic is definitely not alone in making these giant bets. Microsoft just unveiled its own project, what they're calling an AI superfactory. And it's built on this completely wild new idea that the supercomputer isn't one machine in a box anymore. The supercomputer, well, it is the entire network. What they're doing is they're physically linking multiple data centers. We're talking from Wisconsin all the way to Atlanta with 120,000 miles of fiber. That's insane. And this creates one single enormous system just packed with hundreds of thousands of the newest NVIDIA GPUs. And what's the goal? To take the time it takes to train these gigantic AI models from months down to just a few weeks. And to build AIs with, get this, hundreds of trillions of parameters. Okay, so with all this incredible new hardware getting built, you have to ask, what's it all for? What is it actually going to do? Well, the answer is, it's all being built to power the next big leap for AI, the rise of what we call autonomous agents. Yeah, so we're moving way beyond the simple chatbots we're all used to, the ones that just answer questions. This new thing, agentic AI, is totally different. You should think of it less like a tool you use and way more like a digital teammate that you actually work with. These are AI systems that can proactively go after goals, they can make their own decisions, and they can take actions all by themselves to get complex stuff done. And seriously, this is not science fiction stuff. It is happening right now, out in the wild. In the insurance world, Aon has a claims co-pilot that's already speeding up the whole claims process. Deutsche Telekom has an agent that's autonomously managing its mobile network. And Google's Ads Advisor, it can look at your marketing goals and literally build entire campaigns for you. So what we're seeing is AI shifting from just giving us information to actually doing the work. This whole shift is having a huge impact pretty much everywhere, but especially in software development. The AI pioneer Andrew Ng, he's now telling developers they need to start doing what he calls vibe coding. Kind of funny, right? But the idea is serious. Stop writing every single line of code yourself. Instead, your job becomes leading these AI copilots, guiding them to write the code, debug it, and even deploy it for you. Your role completely changes. But, of course, this explosion of autonomy, it creates a brand new massive challenge. I mean, as we start to unleash these super powerful agents that can act all on their own, the big question becomes, how do we control them, right? How do we make sure they're acting safely and doing what we actually want them to do? And this problem isn't theoretical, it's already here. A recent report found that in nearly half, 44% of organizations using AI, employees are just deploying it on their own, with no official sign-off, no oversight whatsoever. And this is creating a giant security blind spot that people are calling shadow AI. You've got these incredibly powerful tools being used with zero security controls in place. And it's not just the users. The tools themselves aren't perfect either, not by a long shot. Microsoft just had to patch two pretty serious vulnerabilities in its super popular Copilot tools for developers. And one of them is really eye-opening. The AI could actually suggest insecure code to a programmer, basically bypassing its own built-in safety features. It's a huge reminder that you just can't blindly trust what these AIs produce. So all of this brings us to a really critical point. Our whole mindset about security has to change to deal with this new world, and that's leading experts to rally around a new idea, applying what's called a zero-trust model to these AI agents. The core idea is actually pretty simple. It's never trust, always verify. So what does that actually mean? Well, in practice, it means you have to treat every single AI agent like a brand new employee joining your company. First, you give it its own unique identity and login credentials. Then you apply the principle of least privilege, which is a fancy way of saying it only gets the absolute bare minimum access it needs to do its job, and nothing more. And then, and this is so important, you are constantly monitoring what it's doing, watching for any weird behavior or what the experts are starting to call excessive agency. Okay, but this need for control, for governance, this isn't just some tech problem for the IT department to figure out. No way. It goes way beyond just code. It's quickly becoming one of the biggest challenges for all of society to figure out. I mean, just look at this. Every single major institution is wrestling with this right now. You've got central banks like the US Fed trying to figure out how to use AI without it, manipulating the market. You've got military experts demanding we draw clear red lines, especially when it comes to things like nuclear weapons. Hospitals are scrambling to build new governance rules. And legal experts are asking this fundamental question. When one of these autonomous systems messes up and hurts someone, who's actually responsible? And believe me, the stakes here are absolutely real. This is not some problem for the distant future. It's happening now. In healthcare, for example, malpractice claims involving AI have already jumped 14% in just the last 2 years. That is a concrete signal that when you roll this stuff out without the right rules, you create very real risks for people. And here's a perfect little example of why governing this tech is so tricky. A recent study found that these super powerful AI image generators often fail at really simple requests. For instance, if you ask it to create a dog without a tail, a lot of the time it'll just give you a dog with a tail. The picture might look amazing, totally convincing, but it's just fundamentally wrong. And that's a gigantic problem in any field where you need things to be precise. So when you kind of zoom out and you connect all these dots that we've been talking about, a really clear picture starts to form. We're watching three huge forces all come together at once, and they are shaping our future right now. You've got the incredible new scale of the infrastructure, the rapidly growing autonomy of the AI agents themselves, and this urgent, absolutely critical need for control and trust. And that really leaves us with one last big thought to take away from all this. As these AI systems get smarter and faster and more able to act completely on their own, what is our role in all of this? What becomes the most important thing for us to do? Are we the builders, the guides, the governors, or is it something else entirely? That's the big question that I think we all need to start trying to answer.